Timeshares. Are they worth the cost? Brought to you by the WeOwnTimeshares.com team. Wouldn't it be nice to purchase your own beachfront property? Sure it would. The only problem is that only the rich and wealthy have an easy time doing it. Us folks in the middle class, on the other hand, want to enjoy all the perks, but it typically has to be done through the use of a timeshare. We don't necessarily have an extra $4 or $5 million laying around to spend on a beachfront property. This is one of the main reasons why the timeshare industry is so big today. The whole idea behind timeshares is being able to have your own vacation home without all the extras. You know, like the upkeep and the maintenance that is normally required are not needed when it comes to timeshares. However, many individuals have misconceptions about timeshares. One of the biggest misconceptions is comparing timeshares to regular real estate property and considering it as an investment option. In fact, it should be thought of as an investment in your dreams, i.e., vacationing at a place you want to go every year. Investing in real estate could reap profitable returns, but if you invest in a timeshare, it may not be a guarantee. In fact, if you only invest in a timeshare to resell it, you could end up losing money. There's always one question in the minds of those people who are planning to buy timeshares. Is it really worth buying a timeshare? To answer this question, you have to go through an analysis of various factors. This analysis should consider factors like comparable rent of alternative accommodations, appreciation of the timeshare property, and your financial status. How do you do it? Here's a simple formula that you can use. Your profitability investment should be the first thing to consider. Here you measure the comparable rate for a rental, the rate of appreciation, and the finance rate. When you total them out, you will end up with a negative number. So before you get started, you should understand that you will most likely lose money on a timeshare. Suppose if corresponding rent in that vacation timeshare is $1,000 and the buying price is $10,000, then the rental rate is now 10%. If we include annual maintenance costs, membership, and other miscellaneous expenses, it comes to around $500. So the actual savings in rent will be about $500, and the rental rate will be the ratio of $500 to $10,000, which gives us 5%. These can also turn into negative percentages. If the appreciation rate is 10% and the finance rate is 16%, once you add the rental rate and appreciation and then subtract the finance rate, you end up with a negative percentage. So in reality, you're losing 1% every year when you compare it with renting. However, keep in mind this is only a rough calculation to show you like a worst case scenario, because depreciation rates and finance rates are going to vary dramatically. So you're going to want to consider your own unique situation. The maintenance fees and other fees may vary with different locations. Some resorts charge reasonable maintenance fees and others may be extremely high. However, you should also compare this to the visual appeal of the property, and this should be a deciding factor in which resort you choose. It is not a smart idea to pay an unusually high fee when you don't know whether you can utilize the property every year, and it doesn't look like that maintenance fee is actually going to the upkeep of the property. We would also recommend that you take the timeshares you own and add up the total cost to own them for an entire year. If you look at this investment, it could be above $520,000. So what I mean by that is add up the cost of your week and multiply it by 52. That's where that number comes from. Now you're going to want to compare that to local real estate if you were to buy property in the area. Any extra money in the difference goes to the pockets of the real estate developers that sell the timeshares. If you can't buy a timeshare or you can't buy a regular real estate property for as much as it would cost to own your timeshare for a year, then you're getting a good deal. I'll give you an example. I own a timeshare in Newport Beach where to have a house or a similar condo would probably cost about $1.5 to $5 million. When I add up the ownership of my timeshare property for an entire year, it comes out to be less than that. So it actually is a good investment in that case. The biggest thing is just taking the time to weigh all the factors and consider all the financial aspects of your purchase. If you're thinking about timeshare ownership and want to learn more about timeshare ownership and various timeshare information, you should check out weowntimeshares.com. You can meet and connect with other timeshare owners on this timeshare ownership social network. It's free to join. You can set up your own profile in minutes. Various owners from across the world share information and reviews of different timeshare locations. So get on and start asking questions in the forum today. We'll see you there.